Hello and welcome back to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we take a look at some of the latest and not so latest Easter eggs in video games, with the only rule being they cannot have been featured on my channel before. In today's video, we take a look at one of the bitchiest Easter eggs ever in Block Strike, we return to the world of Haydee 2 to check out some rather strange video game posters, and we take on a man with the power to knock us out in one punch in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. As always, if you think you know of an Easter egg that I'm yet to cover, then the best place to let me know is in the comment section or on my social media accounts, the links to which are in the description. Oh, and if you do go on to enjoy this video, then leaving a like, subscribing for more video game Easter eggs, or turning notifications on is much appreciated. Also, a big thank you to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So first up, let's take a look at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, plenty of you have asked why I haven't made a full Valhalla video, and that's simply because the game is so damn big. But bear with me, as soon as I finish the game, I'll get working on that video, so expect it sometime in 2022. Anyway, the first Assassin's Creed Valhalla Easter egg in today's video sees you looking for someone called the Walloper, who can be found at this location. When you approach this humble looking farm, you can overhear two children talking about their grandfather, who is the aforementioned Walloper.
Little ones, what is this wallop you speak of?
It's our grandfather, and be careful unless you want a walloping.
I am certain my might could clove his wallop.
After a brief back and forth, the grandfather will reluctantly agree to fight Eivor, where he will promptly knock Eivor out in one punch.
You're finished. Don't. There you have it, as promised. Banal victory for me and my wallop.
So this old man is actually a reference to One Punch Man, a Japanese superhero who can defeat any opponent with a single punch. One Punch Man spends most of his time trying to find a worthy challenger after knocking out all of his previous opponents. The grandfather in Valhalla can be defeated pretty easily with some well-timed counters, at which point he will hand you the key to his stash. The next Valhalla Easter egg can be found at this location and may look familiar.
My God, help me! Please!
So this room is a sky cell, the one-time home of Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. Inside the room you can also find some chickens, which when attacked actually fight back. Now these chickens could be a reference to the super aggressive chickens found in the Zelda series that would swarm you if you repeatedly attack them. Or they may not be. Next up is another Ubisoft game, this time it's Watch Dogs Legion. Now we've already covered over 30 Easter eggs in Legion, but it turns out there were a couple that I missed. First up, if you head to this area of the map, you can find this. So this mural is a tribute to the singer David Bowie, who passed away in 2016. Oh, and you may also recall the Dark Souls bonfire we found a few videos back. Well, if you enter Hackervision, you can see some random wires that don't seem to lead anywhere. These wires are actually a reference to Praise the Sun from Dark Souls. Oh, and whilst we're discussing a game that's all about invasions of privacy, I'd like to take the time to thank the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark VPN. Now I'm pretty certain that you know what a VPN is. It protects you when you're on the internet, it stops your IP address from being hacked, and prevents your personal info from falling into the wrong hands. What's great about Surfshark though, is it does all that and so much more. You can use Surfshark on as many devices as you want, with just the one subscription. Surfshark also offers over 1,800 servers in 63 different countries, meaning you should always be able to find the server that you need. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. The cherry on top of this particular cake is that if you use the promo code Eggcellent, you'll get 83% off and your first 3 months for free. A huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into the Easter eggs. So up next, let's take a look at more Easter eggs from Cyberpunk 2077. Now, as was the case with CD Projekt Red's last game, the excellent Witcher 3, Cyberpunk is absolutely loaded with Easter eggs and secrets. So much so that I've already made a video covering 30 of them, and there are still more being found. The first Cyberpunk Easter egg for today's video can be found at this location on the map. So this underground bunker with a man seemingly killed by a barrel of chemicals is a reference to the 2016 movie 10 Cloverfield Lane, where actor John Goodman suffered the same fate. Not far from the underground bunker, at this location on the map, you can find this. So you've probably already guessed that this is a reference to Vault 101, the vault that you start off in Fallout 3. The text log found on one of the bodies explains that a group of friends were playing a post-apocalyptic LARP, or live action roleplay, before something went horribly wrong. Now the final Cyberpunk Easter egg, well for today's video at least, is one that I'm 90% sure is a reference, but I'd love to know what you guys think. At this location on the map you can find this neighbourhood. Now before I even say anything, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you see this street? Let me guess, My Little Pony Princess Magic. Well, see, I thought that too, until I explored a little further, and this area looks almost identical to Grove Street from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Of course, we've already seen a San Andreas Easter egg in Cyberpunk, with the appearance of Little Smoke and JC found on the train tracks, so this may be another nod to Rockstar's classic open world game. As I said, I'm 90% sure this is a reference to GTA. The other 10%? Well, I still think it may be My Little Pony Princess Magic. Right, sticking with Cyberpunk 2077 now. Well, sort of anyway. Blockstrike is a first-person shooter for Android and iOS, with a Minecraft-like aesthetic. It's a game that I'm happy to admit I'd never heard of until it took shots at one of the biggest games of 2020. On the Noughts map, you can find this. So this secret room is a not so subtle dig at Cyberpunk 2077. The room contains glitchy furniture and NPCs, as well as a logo for Bug Simulator 2077. I must admit, this one is pretty funny. Up next is a game that I almost feel guilty for playing. Almost. Haydee 2 is one of those games that you pray your family doesn't walk in on you playing. But if they do walk in, at least you can now use the excuse that you were looking for Easter eggs. Throughout the game you can find several video game posters that parody real world video games. First up is the Endless Scrolls 5 Skysex, a reference to the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Next is Mad Dad Erection 2, a nod to Red Dead Redemption 2. Nearest Edge Cataclysm is obviously Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Max Gain deserves a whole lot of pain is Max Payne. Half-Life 3 is Half-Life. Host of the Shell is Ghost in the Shell. And finally, Grand Tits Orphan Matrana is Grand Theft Auto. I may have actually missed some other posters, so if you're brave enough to play Haydee 2, knowing someone could walk in at any moment, then feel free to let me know what you find. So the final Easter egg in today's video comes from a very unlikely source. The Tomb Raider reboots aren't really known for their Easter eggs. I mean, in Shadow of the Tomb Raider there was one scene where a jaguar attacked Lara, and that was pretty similar to this iconic scene from Alien 3. Well, that was the case, until the definitive edition of Shadow of the Tomb Raider released in 2019. If you head to this area of San Juan, you can find this. So the reasons for this golden llama appearing in the game aren't exactly clear. Some claim it was meant to be included in a now cancelled DLC, others believe it really is just there for players to find. One thing is for sure though, you will definitely need the definitive edition of the game to be able to find this llama. However you look at it, it's a pretty rare Easter egg and one that I don't think I've seen covered anywhere else. So that's it. As mentioned, if any of you know any Easter eggs that I'm yet to cover, then the best places to let me know are in the comments section or on my social media accounts, the links to which are in the description. Remember, if you are a fan of Easter egg secrets and tiny details in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.